Star Wars 7x7 episode 2432. Today, a little something different on the video front at least. It's an episode by candlelight. And today we're going to talk about the doings in Star Wars storytelling for the month of March 2021. It's the first day of March. Let's see what we've got to look forward to this month. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So, before we kick into this, I do just want to say thank you so much to everyone who had such kind and caring words to share with me in the wake of the COVID positive episode that I did on Saturday. Thank you again so much for your beautiful words of support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's just keep staying strong for each other and for ourselves. Keep those masks handy. And yeah, we will get through this. We will get through this. All right, let's talk about Star Wars storytelling. So on the live action front, I think the big news that we're waiting for, that we've kind of been set up for as far as announcements about Rogue Squadron, is that there's a co-writer on this with Patty Jenkins, and we don't know who it is yet. Back in December when this was announced, she said that he was going to get his own day. He was going to have his own, separate announcement to himself. And so that is still pending, and hopefully this month, but no indication as to when it's coming. And no indication of updates on Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie either. That's the one that in theory would be coming out in 2025, but he still has to get through Thor: Love and Thunder. So yeah, I don't expect any announcements on that or other Star Wars movies this month at least. On the live action front, the Andor series is still filming, and the expectation, I believe, is that the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is supposed to start filming in March, and possibly the Book of Boba Fett as well. So yeah, this stuff is starting to get into the pipeline, and though we're not really going to realize the fruits of it necessarily, I mean, yes, we'll get the Book of Boba Fett starting in December of 2021. We don't know how many episodes that will be or anything like that, but I think it's probably fair to guess that it would continue into 2022. And that is going to be a huge year for live-action storytelling on Disney+, with the continuation of the Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 3, the Kenobi series, the Andor series, and by that time, probably the Ahsoka series in production and the Rangers of the New Republic series in production too. So yeah, that is going to be really awesome and exciting. But for this month at least, the big stuff is Andor continuing and the Obi-Wan series and the Book of Boba Fett series gearing up for their own principal photography situations. On the animation front, we just got the announcement last month that the Bad Batch series will debut beginning May 4th. And based on the timeline of things, in the past, Lucasfilm has released little video shorts about the characters involved in a particular series. For example, like with Star Wars Rebels, when it came out in October of 2014, I believe it was, they released in August, a couple months earlier, a series of webisodes that were like about 4-ish minutes long, and each of those webisodes introduced us to a character who would appear in Star Wars Rebels. So certainly something like that wouldn't go amiss with the Bad Batch characters, and also Fennec Shand appearing in the series as well. And yes, we've already met them, obviously, with Season 7 of the Clone Wars, but, it's never a bad thing to be reintroduced to a character. On the book side, there are 2 big releases this month. The first of them is Victory's Price, which is coming out tomorrow, and that is the final novel in the Alphabet Squadron trilogy from Alexander Freed. And yeah, we will be talking about that this week, so that's to come. Also releasing is the first fiction collection from Star Wars Insider magazine. And the fascinating thing about this that I hadn't seen until doing the research for this episode now is that I thought this was going to be a canon collection, that it was going to collect the short stories that had appeared in Star Wars Insider magazine after the purchase of Disney and the rebooting of the canon and the declaration of the stuff that came before as being legends now, what used to be called the old expanded universe. That's not actually the case. The book itself has the Legends banner across it, and it is collecting older short stories that are not considered part of the current Disney canon now. So that was kind of a fascinating situation. But the roster of stories hasn't even been released that I can find, just the list of authors who are represented in there. And it's a great list of authors, but it's, kind of hard to know what the deal is with that. So, I'll check in on it later in the month when it comes out. But yeah, it's a bit of a mystery right now. And on the audiobook front, as Victory's Price comes out tomorrow, there will be an audiobook version as well. This time it's being narrated by January Lavoie, and so we will have had 3 different narrators for the 3 different Alphabet Squadron novels. It was Saskia Marleveld for the original novel and Carol Monda for Shadowfall, and now January Lavoie. So this is an interesting trinity of narrators that we're getting for this situation too. On the comic side of the house, the flagship Star Wars title gets its 12th issue, and I know that there were delays in production because of the pandemic and so forth, but there is something about seeing a 12th issue where you think to yourself, like, that's a year's worth of comics, and so, that's a year's worth of Star Wars storytelling right there. So congratulations to the Marvel folks and to Charles Soule, who's writing that particular title on, making it to full year for Series 2 of the new flagship title. There's not going to be a Darth Vader issue this month for some reason, so, that's a little odd, but whatever, that's fine. Dr. Aphra will have an issue. There will be a couple of Star Wars Adventures issues. That's the one that's targeted at slightly younger readers, along with the Bounty Hunters issue 10, and also the High Republic is going to have a couple of issues out. High Republic 3 by Cavan Scott and High Republic Adventures 2 by Daniel Jose Older. As for the remainder of the categories, which would be video games and virtual reality and experiential, which is parks and conventions and in-person events and so forth, and then merchandise, I think the only real thing to flag at this point is the video game situation. With the rebooting of Lucasfilm Games, there's been some sort of video game announcement every month. So it was rebooted in January, and then there was announcement after announcement after announcement, and then there was another announcement in February that we talked about on the show last month too. So it seems to be the case, or it seems reasonable to presume, however you want to put it, that there's going to be some sort of video game related announcement in March, but there's no inkling necessarily of what it's going to be at this point. So we'll keep an eye out for it, and when it drops, because I'm pretty sure at the rate they're going, it's going to drop, then we'll talk about it here on the show. And that's what we're looking forward to in the realm of Star Wars storytelling for March of 2021. And as things break news-wise, and as stories develop, and as new and unanticipated announcements come out, we'll talk about them all here on the show this month. So that's going to do it for this episode of the show. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.